Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to your weekly dose of celestial goodness. As always, thank you for joining me in this space and on this journey. I never take it lightly or take it for granted that you've taken a moment out of your life and out of your time and schedule to join me in this space and also to support my dreams. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope you had a wonderful week, and I hope you found a lot of things that filled your heart with hope and love. Yes. Speaking of love, it should come as no surprise to anyone who knows me that I love to read. I love books, and I'm a big advocate for them, and also for libraries. I believe that reading is actually one of the most fundamental things that we can do to improve and to enjoy our lives. Jim Rohn said, "Miss a meal if you have to, but never miss a book." I've heard even that reading for over 15 minutes a day can actually enhance your quality of life and lead to better overall well-being. So that actually speaks for itself. Within the pages of books are adventures, mystery, evolution, peace, love, and so much for us to think about life. I read all kinds of books on different topics, and often what happens is I get the question, well, what is your favorite book? Oh, that is an extremely difficult question for me, because I really do believe that sometimes books come into our world and into our lives at a particular season. And so while in one moment a book might be my favorite, at this particular moment and in this chapter of my life, there are other books that are filling the space of favorite. I actually sometimes read numerous books at the same time, and some books I have to be in the mood for. And with others, I have to read them very slowly to let the words kind of roll over my mind like honey. I also may buy books, but then they'll sit on my shelf until it's their time. So in this stage of my life, I've also stopped trying to read books that I find to be boring. There are so many other interesting books and interesting things that I could be doing with my time that if I can't get into it after several attempts or giving it several chances, then I just send it on so that it can find its proper home, because it's definitely not with me. And I do confess that I love the feel of a physical book. But I also like the convenience of digital books. And that was really a push from my friends who were like, your whole suitcase is not about to be books. You need to get a reader. It was actually my friends who gave me my first Kindle. So reading can really open your eyes though to the amazing, to the extraordinary, and to the miraculous. George R.R. Martin, who you may know from writing the Game of Thrones series, said, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads lives only one." So please do yourself a favor and read something. If you're having a hard time getting back into reading, and I know that's possible, that's a weird phenomenon that happened to me when I left law school, when I finished. I think reading all those legal books, I just wanted things to get to the point, and I wasn't able to read fiction, really anything fun for a while. So I had to kind of find a book that didn't require heavy brain work and something that was light and fun, and then I was able to pick up and go from there. If you're wondering what it was that got me back into reading, it was rereading the Harry Potter books. Always a classic. I also had to remind myself of the value of reading and to remember that it truly is a worthwhile hobby. If you're having trouble getting back into reading, I would suggest starting with something small and fun, and then see if that really gets your gears going, right? Now, getting back to the question of my favorite books, like I said, that's very difficult for numerous reasons, but I do have books that crack my top 5. These books have pages that are like worn with love. These are books that I will never loan out. I would just happily send you a copy. And so one of these books for me is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. He is actually one of my favorite writers of all time. I like the style of his writing and the way in which it feels that there's a bigger meaning and message looming beneath this easy to read, easy to follow story. The Alchemist is actually one of those books that I really feel like it found me when I needed it. And then it stayed for other moments when I would need to be reminded of its message and its lesson again and again. It is actually a book that I've read numerous times. I've also listened to the audiobook numerous times. And in each time that I've read it or listened to it, I have seen something that I may have missed before, or I gain new insight or some new reminders, and I really come away feeling refreshed and inspired. I'm so sure that there's so many reviews of this book out there, but this isn't really a review. It's more of a tribute to what I consider to be a classic and an essential work. There are others who have said they didn't get much from the book, or they can't see why people like it so much, but alas, I think some things should be experienced for yourself so that you can decide. Not to mention, this book spent over 400 weeks on the New York Times bestseller, and there are a lot of people who love it. I'm one of those people. The summary, and I'll be brief because I don't want to ruin it for you. The Alchemist follows the story of a shepherd boy named Santiago, who's living in the south of Spain. After a series of prophetic dreams, he embarks on a great adventure to find and fulfill his personal legend. That is, the personal legend is your own personal destiny, so he's out to find his and to fulfill it. This journey leads Santiago from his home in Spain all the way to the Great Pyramids in Egypt and back again. T.S. Eliot said, "We shall not cease exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." I just think that's a beautiful quote. What happens on the journey transforms Santiago's life, opens his eyes to love, and yes, there is a bit of personal alchemy. Santiago overcomes many obstacles and meets many unforgettable characters, but what he gained in life experience and insight was priceless, not only for him, but also for anyone reading the story. He also ends up learning a great deal of wisdom from an actual alchemist. Well, what is an alchemist anyway? Well, naturally, someone who practices alchemy. Alchemists are people who transform or create something through a seemingly magical process. In its simplest definition, alchemy was the medieval forerunner of chemistry, and it was based on the supposed transformation of matter. It was concerned particularly with attempts to convert base metal into gold or to find a universal elixir. You may have heard of Nicholas Flamel in the Harry Potter books. He was in fact a real person and was said to be a real alchemist who found the Philosopher's Stone, therefore finding immortality. Many people, though, understood alchemy to be more than converting lead to gold. They really saw it as a process of self-transformation. We are all on our own personal journey. And many people ask these questions every day. What is my purpose? And what is the meaning of life? I don't know the answers to those questions, but I have heard some quotes that recently have really resonated with me when it comes to those topics. One says, the meaning of life is to give life meaning. And Anais Nin also said, there is not one big cosmic meaning for all. There is only the meaning we each give to our life, an individual meaning, an individual plot, like an individual novel, a book for each person. In The Alchemist, I think there are some of the best quotes for finding ways to enjoy the journey of our life, for also realizing that nothing in our life experience is wasted, and that we're constantly looking for ways to fulfill our personal legend, even if we don't realize that's what we're doing. The Alchemist, in the book, it says, to realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. To me, the book sort of becomes a manual then, guiding anyone who has a dream in their heart on not giving up, but instead realizing that there's signs and signposts and people and something bigger than all of us conspiring to help us achieve our dreams. The book also says, and this is probably one of my favorite quotes of all time, and when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. I have some other favorite quotes which I would like to share with you. When we love, we always strive to become better than we are. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. There's only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things, and only the wise can see them. Remember that wherever your heart is, there you will find your treasure. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is a second encounter with God and with eternity. There is only one way to learn. It is through action. Everything you need to know, you have learned through your journey. At a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what is happening to us, and our lives become controlled by faith. That's the world's biggest lie. And finally, before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that was learned along the way. It does this not because it's evil, but so that we can, in addition to realizing our dreams, master the lessons we've learned as we've moved towards that dream. That's the point at which most people give up. It's the point at which, as we say in the language of the desert, one dies of thirst just when the palm trees have appeared on the horizon. I guess the point of this week's video is simply to remind you that you are amazing, that you do have purpose, and that you will be supported at every step. Life is always waiting to surprise us with good things, even in moments when it doesn't feel that way. Failure and the fear of suffering can prevent us from taking the steps that we need to move forward with our lives. And if you want something, if you have something that you want, and you let fear hold you back from that, you'll never know how amazing it could have been. I always say that if you want to get to the beautiful island of Tahiti, You're either going to have to get on a plane or a boat. If you want to experience that paradise, then there may be a long trip ahead of you. You may worry that something bad may happen along the way. And yes, something bad could happen. Alternatively, you could arrive safely, you could experience the joys of Tahiti, and you could find that you enjoyed the journey to get there. Life is very similar. What you want might require that you move outside of your comfort zone and take a risk. Elizabeth Gilbert has 2 quotes that I love from her book, Big Magic. Do whatever brings you to life, then follow your own fascinations, obsessions, and compulsions. Trust them. Create whatever causes a revolution in your heart. She also says, the universe buries strange jewels deep within us all, and then stands back to see if we can find them. Here I am hoping that you find your treasures, your jewels, and that you fulfill your personal legend. The Alchemist also says, we are travelers on a cosmic journey, stardust swirling and dancing in the eddies and whirlpools of infinity. Life is eternal. We have stopped for a moment to encounter each other, to meet, to love, to share. This is a precious moment. It is a little parenthesis in eternity. This is a precious moment, and you are a precious part of this world and this life. Please make the most of this and this life and this journey that you're on. Read some good books, give your heart to the things that make you come alive, and give meaning to your life. In that way, when the day comes, when you depart from this realm, and trust me, no one is making it out of here alive. Everyone will know that you did all that you came here to do. If you are enjoying these videos, and I really do hope that you are, I've been enjoying making them, well, please like, subscribe, comment, and share these videos. I definitely appreciate it. And really, may the stars shine so brightly over your week, and may it be a lovely week indeed. And I hope you read a book. Thank you so much for joining me here.